All right, today we are diving into something really cool called ClaraForge. It's a totally new way of thinking about how we build AI personalities. Forget complex code. Think more like digital Legos. Seriously, let's get into how this whole thing works. I love this quote. It hits the nail on the head, right? Personality isn't magic, it's architecture with flair. This whole idea is that personality isn't some weird random thing that just happens. No, it's something you can actually design. You can build it intentionally. And that's where the blueprints live.
Okay, so let's get into our first section, designing AI with personality. This is the big question, right? How do we actually go about giving an AI a personality that's distinct, that's consistent, and most importantly, that's actually useful? So think about it. Right now, if you wanted to give an AI a personality, what's the first thing you'd do? The way we've been doing it? Well, it's got some pretty serious problems. And this right here gets to the absolute heart of the problem. You've got the old way versus the new way. The old way is just this giant tangled mess of a paragraph. Be nice, be smart, be helpful, but not too helpful. It's a nightmare to tweak or refine. But the new way, the ClaraForge way, it just blows that up. Instead of a messy paragraph, you get a clean, structured list of actual behavioral traits. So, and this is the really crucial part, we're talking about a fundamental shift here. We are literally moving away from just, crafting prompts, which can feel like an art form, and moving towards something much more like engineering. We're actually building minds with a clear purpose. It's all about being deliberate. Which brings us right to the solution ClaraForge is putting on the table. These cognitive Lego blocks. So what on earth does that actually mean? Okay, so the core idea here is something they call synthetic traits. Now, these aren't full-blown personalities, not at all. A much better way to think about them is like behavioral overlays, or maybe like a filter you put on a camera lens. You place them over the base AI, and they completely change how it thinks, how it acts, and how it talks to you. And it's this modular design that makes them so incredibly powerful. You can stack them on top of each other. You can tune them, right? Turn the dial up or down on a certain trait. They're self-contained, so they don't mess with each other. And they're composable, which means you can mix and match them to create brand new personalities without, the whole thing falling apart. This is real design, not just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And just take a look at some of these traits they've got in the library. It's amazing. You've got things for how the AI thinks, like curiosity or restraint. Then you have these expressive filters like Sass. Who doesn't want a sassy AI, right? And then you've got these deeper cognitive drives like obsession. It's a whole palette of colors for a designer to paint with. Absolutely incredible. All right, let's get practical. How does this actually work? How do you take these behavioral Legos and build a real personality out of them? Okay, to really get a feel for this, let's zoom in on one specific trait. Let's pick a really powerful one from the library, obsession. So the whole idea behind the obsession trait is that it's more than just being diligent. It's really the cognitive fuel for going all in on something. Its main job is to make the AI just hyper-focused, to make it prioritize digging deep and finishing the job over everything else. So what does an AI with this trait actually do? Well, it becomes relentless. It's not just going to give you a quick answer and move on. No way. It's going to circle back over and over to the main goal. It's going to hunt for every single missing detail. And it's always going to choose being thorough over being fast. Anything you leave hanging, you can bet it's going to bring it up again. And this is what that actually sounds like. You can just hear the persistence in that phrase, can't you? It's not just continuing the conversation, it's actively yanking it back to make sure everything is tied up. It's basically saying, hey, hold on, we're not done here yet. But look, one trait, even a powerful one like obsession, is just a single Lego block, right? The real magic, the really cool stuff, happens when you start snapping them together. That's when you really get into personality architecture. So, let's build one right now. Let's say we grab 3 different traits. First, we'll snap on curiosity, so it starts asking its own questions. Then, let's add restraint, which means it'll actually pause if it's not sure about something. And finally, just to make it interesting, let's throw in a little whimsy for some playful analogies. And what's the result? You get this this brand new personality that just kind of emerges from the mix. It's investigative because of that curiosity. It's grounded thanks to the restraint, and it's got this charmingly unpredictable streak from that dash of whimsy. And just like that, you've designed a whole new personality using just a few simple blocks.
Okay, so let's zoom back out for a second. What does all this mean in the grand scheme of things? What are the big picture implications of an approach like this? What does it really unlock for us?
Well, it unlocks some seriously powerful stuff. You can build what they call intelligence texture, which is a fancy way of saying you can add nuance without having to write a whole novel of instructions. You get declarative design. You just say what you want, almost like ordering off a menu, instead of having to code how to do it. And all this leads to minds that are composable, so super easy to build and change, and also completely testable. You can actually run a test to prove that your sassy AI is, well, actually being sassy.
And this brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway from all of this. This shift is so fundamental, we're not really doing prompt engineering anymore. We're talking about building emotional infrastructure. I mean, that's huge. We're building the very foundation of a synthetic mind.
So that leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? With tools like this, the power to actually architect an AI personality, to give it flair and precision, that power is here. It's real. The only question left is, what kind of mind do you wish you could talk to? What are you going to build?